Hey guys, welcome back to your channel Blooper, and I am just Nene. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. And today what we're going to talk about is the Netflix documentary that came out in 2018, The Rachel Divide. And it is talking about the lady who identifies herself as African American, but she was biologically born Caucasian, white. But what I will say is that this documentary was a interesting documentary blooper, and it also let me into her world to see how or who she was, or the lady behind the facade. Anyway guys, get back with you in just a moment. Okay guys, what I'm talking about is Rachel Dolezal. I hope I'm not killing her name. I do apologize. If anybody didn't know, she actually has her own YouTube channel where she vlogs her daily her daily life and everything. Of course, you know, if you look at the documentary, it will explain some things that we didn't know. What happened, why does she identify the way that she identifies? And you guys, I'm being neutral in this because the way I look at it, it was no different than what our people did when the slavery was over with, and you had a lot of the what they call mulatto children, that some of them could pass to be Caucasian and some of them couldn't. Some of them chose to go ahead and pass to be Caucasian, and years later folks did not know that, you know, they had married actually a African American person. They thought that they were Caucasian. Let's just be honest, okay? They thought we passed. We knew we were African American, but a lot of our ancestors went ahead and passed, you know, knowing that, hey, if I can go over here and have a better life, I'm going to go ahead and choose to live and be this way and have a better life, instead of me being the regular African American that folks stereotype. Now, Rachel in the documentary, I'm saying this from my own perspective. I don't agree with what she did, but there's a time where we can forgive people, or, you know, certain things that people choose to do. You know, yeah, it's a time to forgive, because what we're not understanding is this lady is very knowledgeable. She was a professor, and she taught African art, or she was an expert in what you call the field of it. She wrote a book. She also she's a multimedia artist. She's a former college instructor, and she's the former NAACP president of a chapter in Spokane, Washington. Now, if anybody knows anything about Washington State, where Seattle is, Spokane is on the other side of the mountains. I used to live in Washington. I used to live in Seattle. Actually, I used to live in Kitsap County, or Silverdale as they called it. That was on the peninsula, and because I was stationed there in the Navy. Now, I was told when you go over the Wenatchee Mountains, or over to the side of Spokane, it's a little different. It can be a little racial, versus Seattle is more like, yes, the Emerald City, the melting pot. I felt welcome when I lived there in Seattle. My youngest daughter, on her birth certificate, she was born in Silverdale, or Bremerton, which was right next door to Silverdale. Sometimes I think about moving back to Seattle, okay? But after watching this documentary, I have a whole totally different mindset of who Rachel is. I actually am even subscribed to her YouTube channel. You know, when I listen to the backstory and what transpired and how she got exposed, it made me go, wow, are you serious? Doesn't excuse what she did, because yes, a lot of people are saying, well, you know, you can always go back and be, you know, the Caucasian. We can't do that as African Americans, which is true, we can't. But this lady actually identifies herself as black. She knows she's white, but she identifies herself with a culture that she actually loves, and it shows in her artwork, guys. And I was just so blown away with how she shows how to, on her YouTube. I went to her YouTube earlier when I subscribed, and she showed on her YouTube how to make crochet braids. In the beginning of the documentary, it shows her where that dreaded hair. It shows how she created those dreads and how she made them and everything. So she took pride in learning how to do her hair in dreads and in braids. This lady's very well educated. You know, what she thought she was doing, she didn't see any wrong in it. You know, sometimes some people, when they look in the mirror, they may see themselves as Becky instead of, like, I may see myself as Becky instead of Toya, but I know I'm Toya, because Toya gonna come out. But this documentary actually just had me look on what she was going through the other side after everything was said and done. This lady has a hard time getting a job, you know, and she's very well educated, achieved high achievements and everything. So now that she's exposed as being a Caucasian lady, and we're saying, well, she's got white people privilege, and I'm not saying it to offend anybody, guys, trust me. Really, she doesn't, because she's lost that too. She's a female who identifies herself as being African American, even though we know she's really Caucasian, but she can't get a job in what she does. I went onto her site for her art. Beautiful art. It was one in the documentary where she painted a picture of herself, how she sees herself. That's what I'm assuming. And she had put this beautiful necklace around her neck, and she had her hair up in a wrap and everything. And I'm believing this woman, when she looks in the mirror, when Rachel looks in the mirror, she sees herself as African American. Mentally, she doesn't care that we're saying no, you're not. This is what she sees when she goes in the mirror. And the only person that can judge her is the man upstairs. But I found out that if you take this person who has, yes, she did wrong previously, and I'm not saying we're supposed to forget, but we can forgive. It got so bad for this lady that she had to change her name. And it shows in the documentary at the end where she goes and changes her name from Rachel to another name. And of course, yes, she chose it of African descent. I can't pronounce it. Ninchi Amore Diallo. I may be saying it wrong, but she chose an African name. I went onto her website, I looked at her artwork, and I am just amazed at this woman's talent. She has non-ending talent, non-ending knowledge. And if we would take the time to embrace what this woman, even though she did what she did, but if we would take the time and embrace and take and absorb what she has to offer as far as knowledge, as far as in the documentary, one of her sons said, I was the only person in my class who knew who Frederick Douglass was, because she taught him. And if y'all don't know, I'm not gonna tell the backstory about the oldest child, because you need to look at the documentary for that. But her child that she had in her actual marriage, Franklin is his name, very smart young man. He's mixed, So yes, his daddy was African American, and of course Rachel's white, but he's mixed. She was married. In the documentary, she said she was married to Franklin's dad for 5 years. And she explains what happened with that. He loves his mother. He sees no color. Even the oldest son sees no color. Even her sister sees no color. But it's a very important backstory behind that. That kind of sort of explains who this woman is. What was her journey before she decided to pass herself off as African American? Yes, at first, y'all, I'm going to admit I was pissed. I was upset and everything. And I said I wasn't going to look at this documentary. This is a 2018 documentary. Okay? All this stuff popped off with this lady 2015, 2016. Rachel is still having a hard time working in the field that she has degrees in. This woman went to Howard University, and when she went to Howard University, she went as a white lady, a Caucasian. Okay? But I believe something happened even more that wanted her to transpire or to transform herself into this other person, to who she became. Are you following me? Just like in the previous video when I was playing with all the different hairs and everything. As a matter of fact, this is one that I have on from that video. And I had the makeup on, the full makeup on. Right now I'm looking more natural than anything. You can transpire yourself to be who you want to be. There are even African Americans right now that are bleaching their skin to be lighter. Okay? To be lighter. I don't judge them. I don't judge them at all. If that's what you want to do, if that's what you want to float your boat, you go right ahead. There's only one person that can make a determination or judge us, and that's the man upstairs, y'all. That's the man upstairs. Okay? So, I recommend you guys go look at the Rachel Divide for y'all who were just curious as to who was Rachel, the lady who was the president of the Spokane, Washington NAACP chapter. Before everything hit the fan, before she was exposed. Find out who she was. Find out what she did. Find out why people treat her like they treat her. Make your own determination before you just go by one thing what she did, which I didn't agree with it. I still don't agree with it. But you know what? Moving forward, I see where we could learn a lot from this lady as far as teachings, knowledge, experience. Because now, even though she can go back and be a white woman, she still can't get the white, as we say, the white privilege. And I say that in a way, guys, not to be any kind of racial or anything, because I'm not that type of person. I'm just looking at the perspective of this documentary. Now, what if the shoe was on the other foot? And there was, like I said, we did it after slavery. We had ancestors that could pass. And when slavery was over with, they didn't want to go through the slavery of the hardships of the darker African Americans. They decided then and there, I'm going to pass myself off as Caucasian. So we're talking about hundreds of years of where a Caucasian man thought he was marrying a Caucasian woman, but he really married an African American woman. So Hundreds of years go by until somebody finally decides to say, wait a minute, let me go back and check my ancestors. Then they find out that great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandma used to be a slave, but she could pass as African American. That stuff gets really deep, y'all. But I think we're at an age, because there's so much stuff happening, that sex doesn't really exist anymore. As far as you have boy girl doesn't exist. It's different categories. Now the way that they're saying this is that we may have different categories of races. People may affiliate themselves. They could be dark skinned like me and may say, no, I'm Caucasian. Now what I ain't gonna do is claim that, but I am gonna claim my Indian ancestors, because I know a lot of Indian runs in my family, and you know, as Indians, you know, get the high cheekbones and, you know, certain blood types. I'm B positive blood type. Red Cross, don't y'all call me and ask me for no blood or for no plasma, because I'm not donating, and y'all don't stick real good. Y'all be leaving people bruised. TMI, y'all. But I'm just saying, I do give blood. And for the longest, even in the military, I thought I was O positive, but I'm B positive. So I had to look up and find out a little bit more about B positive blood. And of course, it said mostly Native Americans. So somewhere along the line, back in the day, there's a bunch of Native American going in my family. And then you look at the undertones, orange red undertones in the skin color, Native American ancestor, you know. So who knows, we'll figure it out one day. I don't know which tribe I belong to, but I know my family belong to a tribe. I don't know if it's the Blackfoot, Cherokee, Navajo, all the other ones they got out there. But anyway, if didn't nobody tell you they love you, and I'm gonna say it again, if didn't nobody tell you they love you, I'm gonna tell you, me, I'm just Nene, that I love you. And you guys stay blessed, stay safe, stay prayed up. Let that chaos stay outside your door until it decides to go ahead and just disband itself and cast its way from this nation, because folks is talking really kind of cuckoo about opening up these states that have not been fully exposed. Yeah. And again, I'm gonna go back to that video. Y'all, let me take a sip of my water. I got some infused water with some strawberries and lemons in it. That's good. And then I'm gonna go in here and make me some elderberry tea before I go to bed and have something hot to drink. But again, if didn't nobody tell you they love you, I'm gonna tell you, me, I'm just Nene, that I love you. I'm gonna keep repeating it, but again, go back and look at my video where it said co-workers was giving out codes, because I believe back in the day, I've been home now going on for the 6th week. They closed our building down. And between my sinuses, and I'm sorry about that cough, I'm getting ready to go wash my hands after this. I believe back then that that's what a girl was, what it was. And when I go out, I wear a mask, I wear rubber gloves and everything, because I am one of those people that are high risk. But anyway, until next time, my friends, I love you guys. I'll see y'all next video. I'm gonna start shooting a little bit more videos, even if it's just me yabbing my mouth. Eventually I'm going to go live. That's gonna be interesting, the first time for me to go live. I gotta psych myself up for that. But stay tuned for the next video. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. And we didn't have that many bloopers today. And I'll see you guys next time. And yeah,